welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Animals and Pets with Partha. Today I am with you with a different subject. The subject of animals, of course, and the subject of dogs. Why I am chosen dogs is because I am more comfortable talking about the dogs and the dog game than other topics and other animals. But though I have the experience, I have the knowledge, but I leave that for experts who are more involved than me in that subject. And of course, I will be definitely talking on them and making pointers from time to time. But let me talk to you about the dog world and its transition over the last 50 years. Actually, when I came to this dog world, and at that time, dog game was never considered to be a profession. Of course, in today's world, in our country or in many other countries, mainly in Asia and a lot of European countries also, dog game is a big-time profession. Families are thriving on it. They have raised children on selling dogs and being in the dog world. Here there are trainers, handlers, breeders, even dog farmers who are at this point of time sort of earning a living out of dogs. But when I started into this game of dogs, it was never considered a profession. And there were very few people who were involved in this purebred dog game back in this country. And it was the elite people who were still involved. Of course, there was little infringements where ordinary people started buying dogs and they had an inclination to buy purebred dogs. But then the majority of these purebred dogs actually it was in the hands of the elite people and the rich and the rich people. And so were most of the social clubs all across India, who were actually at one point of time started by the Britishers. And in the British culture, they actually kept their social clubs, or even clubs like Dog World and the Horse World, the racing clubs, the polo clubs, and the golf clubs and other things, the swimming clubs, all were very much protected from ordinary people. Most ordinary people who were, people who were considered ordinary at that time, who were business people, small-time business people, maybe a person dealing in fishes. Nowadays, a person who deals in fishes like what we eat, though they are maybe 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times richer than many of the rich people of that time. But in those days, these people were not considered elite enough to be part of such social organization. And of course, purebred dog was a very, very protected sport. And then, but when I came, somehow, of course, I never had the money, but then I had the background. My great-grandfather, of course, donated a big hospital and things like that. And so, I was quite welcomed into the society. And then I didn't go there to make a living because my parents could fend for me, and I could wear a decent pair of clothes and go around in society. So anyway, since of course there was a need for younger people to join the dog club because there was a lot of physical work that was involved in organizing dog shows at those times. And so, I came into this game, and of course the story of it was all just on a very amateur motive that I came here, and I never ever thought that it was for the sake of money, and it was not a possibility at all at that time. But anyway, over the years I've seen that things have changed, and changed radically. Now of course dog game, now the situation is different. now it's the clubs. The clubs also have changed their character. Some clubs have gone into the hands of the syndicate, as we know, and the syndicate converted the club into sort of a private enterprise, and with a group and bunch of stooges, he runs a show where crores and crores of rupees are being amassed, and now matters are in court, and because it's a club, it's a public organization, and people who are actually running it are answerable to the members of the club. And of course, the membership in many cases are very restricted. They have from a few hundred rupees, the membership has been raised to, I think, 50, 60, whatever. And not only that, then over and above, you got to pay a bribe to be part of it. And you know, what you get in exchange is you can make your dogs win, and you can be a part of this small group of people. And then, of course, you can become dog judges and all that. Knowing nothing about dogs, you can do that. And then once you become a judge, then you think you can travel around the world judging dogs and this and that. So that is the whole idea of this club run by the syndicate. Then there are, of course, other clubs also, which are not corrupt, I can tell you, and they have been there. But then they're all in a very small scale. They have not sort of thought that India has grown manifold. There's a sea change in our social structure. Means people who are actually working class, who are small-time business people, have now become big business houses. People who used to do sort of maybe run a small roadside shop are now running a chain of shops. You know, so the people, money has gone to the people who are enterprising people, the people who were at that time the have-nots, but they have become, they have made big in life. And it's so good for this country. And you see, how did that happen? Because one thing you will realize, that people who are, hungry, they have the hunger to grow. People who have enough already, they have less demand. So for them, the hunger for growth is not there. Now, if you take Hong Kong at one time, it was a place where only the Chinese refugees were there. But then if you see, Hong Kong is one of the richest places in China now. It's of course part of China today. But then you see the people, everyone is rich in Hong Kong. Of course, you have the working class who live a very pathetic life. They live in small places, crammed up, and they are just labor class. But then you have the other class, which is really rich and super rich, and the rich are rich. So here in India also, you have it's a blast, and people have made really, really big. But then our dog game has not really transformed itself. It's never thought that we are here to give service. There are so many people, so our dogs needs us, means the dog world needs us. We need to sort of spread this dog game, the knowledge of dogs, to every corner of this country. We must explain that dogs are not just for business. Dogs are not factory machines where you buy a few dogs and put them in kennels and put them in a farm and feed them and take puppies out of them and sell them, saying they're German Shepherds and they're Labradors and they're Golden Retrievers and they're all the rest. Because if you educate them, if you tell them this is the dog world, this is how you can have top class dog, this is how, if you are selling a dog for 10,000 rupees and you have to sell 100 puppies to get that money, but if you are selling it for 1 lakh of rupees each puppy, and because if that is quality, then what happens is you breed less, you sell less, but you make the same and more amount of money than you do by selling these trash dogs for 10,000, 12,000 and 8,000, 7,000. So, this is what is the painful part of it, because we have not tried to take everybody into our fold and try to educate them. We want to alienate them. We still are on the British system. We are still thinking that we are something, we are Superman, and those people must be kept out. All the people who are trying to do business in dogs should be kept out and should not be allowed. Only people with money should come in so that they buy the shows, and once they buy the shows, they pay the judges. Everything works, There's so much money and so much glamour. Then you have scotch bottles, and you have jewelry, and you have cash, and you have all this. So what is the bother? So you don't bother to actually include the general people. And then on the other hand, when you do that, what is happening is people have become farmers now, and there are large, indiscriminate breeding, and nobody is bothered for quality, because the people who are buying, they are not interested. They don't know what quality is, because you have you say at one hand, here are dogs with papers, and what you see in the dogs with papers are trash dogs, and dogs without papers, they are nice and healthy and better looking dogs. So people are confused. So, because the papers are sold in the market, the syndicate is actually running a huge business along with his few stooges to generate money by selling dog papers through these agents across this country. And then there are other clubs, of course, they are not corrupt, I would say. They want to serve the people, but then they have to change their ways. Because if you think that, we are not actually as greedy as them. They are charging 2,000 rupees just to give a paper, but we are only charging 500, or we are charging 600. I don't know. Means it could be, but then there's less. Of course, for giving out a club, they're charging so much. We're charging very little. We're only charging 25%, 50%. So, it is actually, but then it's the same thing. It's that you are only charging less, but you're also, but you're delivering the same thing. So I'm not trying to tell you that. See, you have to be very clear as to what you want to do. Because the dog game, you have to get people come into your fold. Now see, a person will come to you for a dog, and then will say, first thing he'll say, I just want a pet, I don't want a show dog, because they understand now by using that show dog name, you're going to charge him 50,000 rupees or 60,000 rupees. But he knows he can buy the same breed for 10 or 15 or 20,000 rupees easily from the market. And he has a choice of hundreds of people selling it. But then you're going to sell him all this bullshit about, this is a show dog and this and that, and then selling that. Because this is all hype, and then it's the social media. You have 300, 400 or 500 people saying like, good, fantastic, this, that, super, and all that. And that's how you raise the price. This is all. And then in the dog show, what happens is you pay the judge, you pay the club and all that. The syndicate arranges for everything, and only those dogs win. That dog's paper is there all over. That is the father, that is the grandfather. They're all champions under this judge and that judge, from this European, that European. And small European countries, it's just a foreign name. You said this judge and that judge. That judge may not know anything. It's just, but they have to get these foreign judges so that people know nothing about them. So they can, if the dog wins, there is such a great judge, he's one of the greatest judges from, I will not name, there's so many of these small countries across Europe, and you get these judges and you say they are just, they're world famous judges and whatnot. They're all bullshitting people. So you have to change your ways, you have to educate your people, you have to educate every dog lover, you have to get everybody into your fold, and they should not think that you are actually taking them for a ride. Today, I had a very elite person, he contacted me 2 days back. Actually, I had a work, he had done me a favor in life about 10 or 12 years back when I was stuck with my passport, and my passport had less than 6 months validity, and I couldn't travel out to Italy because I was scheduled to judge in Italy, and I realized my passport wasn't good enough to apply for a visa. So then I had to get it done instantly. It was, of course, nothing illegal, but then, the process was, if I went through the normal process, the time that would be taken, I would miss I couldn't have got the visa because I was traveling quite hectic. My traveling was quite hectic in those years. But so this gentleman who was high up in the government, and I somehow was able to get to him, and I said, "This is my problem, sir." And he gave a phone call, and within hours I had my new passport with new 10 years of validity, and I could apply, and I went. This gentleman contacted me, and the moment, of course, I said yes. I asked, "What is your requirement?" I do not really entertain people coming to me to buy dogs nowadays because I don't breed anything anymore. And any person I approach in the market, he has to be a professional breeder, otherwise you don't get. And then if you talk to some of the bigger breeders whom you think just by name, because they will say these are show dogs and great dogs and that dog and that pedigree and that pedigree, but most of the pedigrees, of course, are, as you know, are false, because the syndicate and his group of people have made sure that all the DNAs have gone wrong, because the paper thing has completely been destroyed and ruined in this country. So there is no only barring a few direct imports who have control over their dogs, and who are breeding from those imports. They have first generation, and after till that time is okay. And the moment the puppies are sold out, and after that everything, then that paper will be used for hundreds and hundreds of litters and things like that. So all these things keep happening, but then we have to decide, and we have to think how we can serve and change our ways. So for that, there is lot of brainstorming sessions we need to have. We need to think what is proper in this present scenario. There are millions of people into this purebred dog game, and you see, you open up the YouTube, you open up the show, you see, and most of them talk trash. Most of them advertise. They don't know what they were saying. The only thing and they're able to get away with it because they were able to sell their puppies, and that is what matters. And they have to impress the customers. They have to impress and get people to buy their dogs, and that is all. Beyond that, they're not interested. And then to do that, they need to pump in money to the clubs, and so what they do is, and then the rich people, there are some rich people who say, we want to sort of we have so much of money, and we have a dog, and the dog must win because the dog is my wife's dog, and I have to keep my wife happy. So if my wife says that her dog is the best and that dog must win, the husband must make sure the dog wins. The husband has the money, and the handler has told the wife that if you pay 2 lakhs, your dog is going to win. The husband cannot refuse. He puts that 2 lakhs on. He says, well, that will make my wife happy. And the handler organizes everything, and the dog wins. So this is happening in this country, and it's been happening again and again. So what have we done to change it? We have done nothing at all. So that is why I could be judging and just, I would still, there would be people running outside my door with scotch bottles and loads of money and whatever, just to put up, dogs, So, but then I'm not interested. I'm not interested because that is not the criteria that attracted me to the game. It was not money that actually brought me to the game. It was my deep passion for this, for animals and dogs in particular, that I joined this fancy. And today, when I see this situation, it pains me. That is why I have digitally, I'm trying to educate people. I'm trying to get people onto one fold. I'm trying to interact with people in the fancy and let them come forward and interact among themselves, and let them choose and make a path. I'm there to help them if required. Whenever they want me, I'm always there. So with these few words, my video has gone too long. I don't want to pull it any further. But then I am there, and I'm going to come back with the Hindi episode and then the Bengali episode. what I am trying to say is, I am trying to get all the clubs to come in. My animalworldraced.com has been formed with that interest in mind. So I want that different clubs and organizations working for animals, let them write to me, let them send their news to me, which in the newsletter I can actually announce them. And it can be any number. I can write 10 newsletters I can post every day. It doesn't matter. But then the news I want, I just want free subscribers. I'm not wanting to I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for people to subscribe free to this newsletter. To all animal lovers, come into this platform and you contribute. The horse people, the bird people, the cat people, everyone. Tell your views. What do you like to do? How you like to serve the game? How do you like to serve the fraternity? It is just not money and business. If it is money and business, you can go ahead and there are a lot of selling sites. You can do it there. Of course, you can sell through this site also, sell quality animals. You only breed for quality, because you must educate the people in front of you. The knowledgeable people should come forward and bequeath their knowledge to the next generation. That is my idea. And with this idea in mind, I have formed animalworldraced.com. I expect a lot of members, hundreds and hundreds. Of course, I'm very, very happy with the way things are going. So many people are finding it so convenient to register their dogs and their other animals, cats and even horse has been registered. So there are so many people using this registry. I'm sure the word will go around. It's only a month or so old, and people are instantly getting a registration paper with a unique registration number which can be used as a tattoo number, and it's all that for a price of 99 rupees only, which auto downloads instantly instead of the thousands and thousands of rupees that is spent. 1,000 rupees for a magazine, which is also in one English language, which is a foreign language to this country. Most people in this country do not speak English. Of course, a vast majority of the people do speak English, but then we cannot leave all the other dozens and dozens of languages that people speak. We must have some common language bindings, like we have Hindi, which is spoken by the most number of people of this country. Then we have other languages spoken by a huge majority of the people, like Bengali and therefore Bengalis. Then we have Tamil, and we have so many languages, Assamese and Oriya and other. So everyone means more, and a lot of these people don't know English at all, may not be able to read an English magazine. So to read a magazine which has only some foreign inputs, and you have some rich people pay and they just advertise their kennel and all that sort of thing, and they pass off as interview and this and that, and self-aggrandizement. So all that is happening, but that is not actually the idea. My newsletter is actually you join for free, you contribute for free, and you just come together and share your knowledge. Thank you, and see you again shortly with my next video on the same subject, animals, of course. Maybe a new perspective, a new way of thinking, maybe the same thing in Bengali or in Hindi. These are the three languages I'm able to speak, and I do it in those three languages. But then you're most welcome to share anything in other languages also, and I would be very happy to put it up in my YouTube channel. Of course, one last thing, it has a new handle which has been offered from the YouTube, which is Dog Judge Partha. So if you type Dog Judge Partha, you immediately get the hundreds of videos that I have uploaded over a year or so on animals, on various subjects of animals, and particularly dogs, of course. Bye for now.